Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Economo from the Boca Raton Police Services Department. Joining me today is Officer Brandon Eames. He's part of the crime prevention unit here in the city of Boca Raton's Police Department, and we're going to be talking about residential burglaries. In the first half of the year, we've seen an increase in residential burglaries and a lot of loitering and prowling arrests as well. And we're here today to talk about some of the things you can do to keep your home safe and what to do if you see suspicious activity in your neighborhood. First, thanks for joining us today.
Sure.
First question I have is, what do we contribute to this increase in residential burglaries and loitering and prowling going on around the city?
Well, there's many factors that influence why people commit crime. One that I'd obviously point to right now is just economic downturn. More and more people are getting more and more desperate all the time. So in response to this increase, the police department has reassigned personnel to increase how many officers are in the neighborhoods, both through marked patrols and unmarked undercover patrols. And we're also trying to get the word out to residents via various internet resources as well as community meetings that we're holding.
And the word seems to be getting out. We've seen an increase in folks in neighborhoods calling when they see suspicious activity going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what are some of the signs residents should look for if they're home and they're home during the day? And what are some of the things they should look for in their neighborhood to be suspicious of?
Sure. One of the trends that we've found is that people will come from out of town in rental vehicles with very, very dark tinted windows. Mm-hmm. And what they'll do initially when they arrive in a neighborhood is cruise the neighborhood slowly looking for their target house. After they've found that house, they may either pause and let someone else out of the vehicle to go to the house or back the vehicle in the driveway. So if residents are home and they see vehicles driving slowly, or they see the same vehicle circling, or they see people being dropped off and picked up in a neighborhood, that's obviously something that we want them to call us about. After that point, the people in the vehicle will often go knock on the front door. If they don't get an answer at the front door, then they'll go ahead and move around to the back of the house where they're concealed and they're standing a less chance of being seen by someone to go ahead and try to break into the house.
So if you see cars driving really slowly through neighborhoods, kind of going back and forth, stopping, it's obviously suspicious.
Absolutely.
People shouldn't feel as though they're wasting our time by calling us if they see something they think is suspicious. In a way, we'd rather go there and have a false alarm and not anything suspicious versus responding to a burglary after the fact.
Absolutely. I unfortunately talk to residents pretty regularly that may have seen something at the time that a crime was going on, but didn't want to waste their time. Like you said, they don't want to call in and have it be nothing and waste our time or have us come out for no reason. But as a police officer, I'd rather come out and investigate incidents that aren't anything than get the call later.
With these residential burglaries, obviously they can happen any time of the day or night. We see a lot of these, though, happening late morning to early afternoon when people are at work. What can people do to make their property, their residence safe and uninviting to these would-be burglars?
Well, the first thing is locking your doors. It sounds obvious, but sometimes when we're just taking quick trips to walk the dog, to run to the grocery store, we may not think to lock our doors or to close our garage door. But we have seen several instances where people will just go into an open garage door as well. Also, one of the things that I see most frequently as far as an easy security step that's overlooked is simply locking the side gates on your house. Most gates are built with a latch and a lock in place. All you need to do is just add a padlock to that latch. Like I already said, most of the time they'll check the front door and then they'll go ahead around to the back of the house. By locking those gates, you're eliminating that access to the back of your house.
A lot of times I hear also folks have alarm systems they don't use, they don't turn them on, and also if they do have it and it goes off, they tell the alarm company, oh, cancel it because they don't want to pay the fine or if it's a false alarm. It seems that it's worth, number one, taking that chance, or number two, if you have an alarm system, use it.
Absolutely, and not only use it, it's also important to make sure that it's serviced at least annually. A lot of times residents won't have the police sent by the alarm company because it may be an older system that does have a history of false alarms. But if it's serviced regularly, you aren't going to have that history of false alarms. So when one does activate, you definitely want to have them send the police department.
Lastly, outside the perimeter of the house, a lot of times people have it's Florida, we have a lot of tropical foliage covering windows, blocking areas of doorways and stuff. It's important to make sure your lighting around your house is good and that these bushes are trimmed back away from windows.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you could do to increase the visibility around your house is beneficial. Whether that's by lighting, the more light the better. Obviously, in certain areas of your home, that may not be something that's beneficial for you if it's near where you're trying to sleep. However, in those areas, you could use motion-activated lights. As far as vegetation goes, you want to be able to make sure that anyone can see what's going on in front of and around your house from the street, from passersby. What you can do is make sure that your bushes are trimmed below 3 feet and make sure that you don't have low overhanging trees that are blocking the view of the side of your home, the windows, and the front door.
Finally, if anyone has questions about their property, maybe some suggestions on what they could do to better protect their property, the Crime Prevention Unit is more than willing to come out and do an assessment of their property? Yeah,
absolutely. You can call the Crime Prevention Hotline at 347-3938. And we'll come out and walk around your property with you, show you some things that you may be able to do to improve your security.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us today. For more information, you can head over to our website, bocapolice.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us.